Name, image, and likeness, more commonly referred to as NIL, allows athletes to legally profit for commercial purposes. Although initially prevented by the NCAA, court rulings gradually changed the course of action, beginning with O'Bannon versus NCAA, then followed by National Collegiate Athletic Association versus Alston, which determined the NCAA was profiting from the namesake and likeness of college athletes. Lower courts ruled that this violated antitrust laws, and the Supreme Court affirmed it in a unanimous ruling in June of 2021. University of Iowa point guard Caitlin Clark is one of many current college athletes that are cashing in. The 22-year-old has signed deals with Gatorade, Nike, and Hy-Vee, among others. Those partnerships netting her an estimated $818,000, according to a spokesperson from online retailer Fanatics. Clark's merchandise has sold more than any other college athlete. Basketball and football generate arguably the most money, attention, and NIL deals. There's good and bad to it all, so we sat down with two people familiar with the game. One is a basketball coach who has played or coached at almost every level, and the other is a familiar face to our area that used her platform to help grow women's basketball in her community during her 6 years in Brookings.
A career littered with accolades, it was only natural that Letcher, South Dakota native Maya Sellen became a household name. After landing an NIL opportunity with Stony Brook Suites in Brookings, she said the experience was more of an opportunity to connect with people outside Frost Arena.
At the end of the day, these athletes are able to kind of, use their platforms and connect, with communities, organizations in the communities, business in the communities, and that ultimately helps grow the game too, especially in women's basketball. The more, you can get out and be a part of the community. You can, see faces of women's basketball players with businesses and organizations. Like, that's good for the game.
Sellen credits the approval of NIL for helping her and teammate Tori Nelson grow their scholarship program, Her Turn, which assists families in Brookings with financial barriers that would prevent girls from participating in athletic camps. Money has a role in making a lot of aspirations become reality, such as participating in camps or attending college. Similarly, student athletes that make that dream come true come from financially challenged backgrounds. While not always the case, and contrary to Sellen's 6 years at SDSU, it's one reason you'll sometimes see prominent players transfer. Not because they don't love where they're at, but they have a chance to help accomplish even more.
I think every athlete has a different story, and we're talking about life-changing money sometimes, and so it's hard to fault the athletes, for kind of making some of these decisions. And so, yeah, I think it can go both ways. It can be obviously really good. It can change an athlete's life.
Further south in Missouri, the prep basketball program known as Link Academy is developing future college stars on and off the court and preparing them to handle everything they might encounter, including NIL opportunities if they're available. Coach Chad Myers, who has seen it all as a coach in the prep and Division I ranks, says this new era involves maximizing every opportunity, including the financial ones.
I think that's the balance, is where the NIL dollars, how does it affect your long-term career? But obviously you don't want to pass up a great opportunity to put obviously money in your pocket for yourself and your family at a young age. And I think that's a big challenge. I think the biggest question is right now, how do we kind of manage and control it, because the playing field at certain universities and stuff are so uneven.
Big in Missouri at the prep level, athletes are able to retain NIL money. Legislation from 2021 permitting this also requires post-secondary institutions to educate athletes once per year through a financial development program, something Sellen says should be a priority for the NCAA.
I do think there needs to be resources to help kids. I mean, my deal, it was, we're told in compliance, like NIL, you have, tax implications. This is kind of the rules you have to follow. But, that's really hard, especially for, an 18-year-old kid to have to figure out, how to handle your money wisely. And so I think that's another part that we'll really, the NCAA, and we'll really need to invest in, of, equipping kids and athletes with the resources they need to, kind of handle everything that's kind of thrown at them right now.
Making it to college athletics looks much different now, possibly for better and for worse.
The NIL and the transfer portal has caused chaos, and it's really one as a whole, because you're giving these guys NIL money, and if they're not getting it, they're just going over here and getting it because they don't have any transfer rules either. So I think the both at the same time is what's really caused that I don't really love right now, but it's a world that we're in.
And we asked you last week your opinion on name, image, and likeness. Should student athletes continue benefiting from name, image, and likeness? And roughly about a third of you saying that you're either for it, you're against it, or some of you also saying that you are indifferent with the decision. Unionization efforts are gaining momentum. In the Ivy League, Dartmouth's men's basketball team was recognized by National Labor Relations Board as employees of the school. According to the Associated Press, this clears the way for an election that would create the first ever labor union for NCAA athletes and allow for the negotiation of salary, working conditions, practice hours, and travel. On the other side, a majority of university, NCAA, and congressional leaders say athletes are students and not employees. South Dakota Senator John Thune says some members of Congress are for the unionization model, but he's not one of them. Coming up, Senator Thune explaining his reasoning against unionization and what that model could do to smaller conferences that affect our local colleges and universities.